Hello and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk about what I think are the best 5 places to buy real estate in the region, the beautiful region of Lazio in Italy. Now, as with many other videos, it was very difficult to find the top 5 simply because there's so many nice towns and cities in this region. But I have to say some were just that bit too expensive. For example, Sperlonga is very expensive at nearly 6,000 euros per square meter on average. And other places which are also very nice, perhaps were not such good value for money. For example, Terracina, Ostia, and Frascati I like very much, but property prices were on average around 2,500 euros per square meter. Not expensive, but not particularly cheap either. One place I love is Gaeta. Gaeta is absolutely wonderful, a town near Formia, but property prices here are over 3,000 euros per square meter. And a place like Cassino, I love Cassino, and Monte Cassino is based here. Although property prices are cheap, it's just that little bit too remote. Anyway, here are my top 5, and coming in at number 5 is Formia. Now, with a population of around 38,000, Formia is a seaside city perfectly located between Rome and Naples. It is a very important transport hub in the region of Lazio. There are many daily trains which take you to either Naples or Rome in about an hour or so, and the costs are low. In fact, you'll often find 2 or 3 trains per hour to Naples and Rome, and the cost being less than 10 euros. Now, from the port in Formia, you can get ferries and hydrofoils which connect you to both Ischia and Ponza. And you can also get a local bus which takes you to lovely towns like Gaeta and Minturno. But Formia isn't just a place where you find nice sandy beaches. There are many other attractions in the city, including 2 towers, many remains of Roman villas along the coast, Roman buildings in town, an archaeological museum, a Roman Sistine, which is one of the world's largest, and many other noteworthy churches. Now, sports-wise, Formia is a hub for cycling events and is the seat of the National Athletics School of the Italian National Olympic Committee. And there are more than enough cafes, bars, restaurants and eateries in the city for you. And property prices for a seaside place in Italy are very reasonable at an average of just over 2,000 euros per square meter. And a lot of Italians actually have a second home here, in particular those in Naples and Rome come here in the summer to their second properties. Now, the only downside I will say is that in the winter months it can be quiet. So perhaps if you want a place where there's a lot of life in the winter, this may not be for you. Now, coming in at number 4 is Rome. Now, you may be surprised that I've included Rome in the top 5 places to buy real estate in Lazio, but there can be no doubt that Rome is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And property prices are a lot cheaper than other Western European capitals like London, Paris and Berlin. Whilst I do not believe buying property in Rome is an investment opportunity, prices at an average of around 3,300 euros per square meter are certainly not excessive, especially when you consider that in Paris and London, property prices are well over 10,000 euros per square meter. Of course, if you buy in the historic centre, you will pay over 7,000 euros per square metre on average. But there are other areas of Rome which are far more affordable. Now, near the Vatican, you can often find property prices at around 4,000 to 4,500 euros per square metre. Now, not amazingly cheap, but not too expensive if you consider you're not too far from the historic centre. Now, Monteverde, a nice leafy neighbourhood in Rome, which is, I think, ideal for families, real estate costs on average less than 4,000 euros per square metre. Balduina, another nice neighbourhood northwest of the historic centre, is fairly inexpensive for property, with average prices at around 4,000 euros per square metre. And the nice thing here is that apartments tend to be more modern and spacious than other areas of Rome. Now, other places in Rome which I think are not too expensive and which are quite nice places to live are San Giovanni and around Bologna, where property is not much over 4,000 euros per square meter on average. So I think there's a lot to consider here. Coming in at number 3 is Rieti. Now, with a population of around 47,000, Rieti is an undervalued town in Lazio. The town centre is located on top of a small hill, providing lovely views of the surrounding areas. There are lots of attractions in the town, including a very imposing cathedral, which has features from many different historic eras, including Romanesque and Baroque. Now, for a fairly small town, there are quite a few lovely palaces, and the town is also dotted with a number of very nice churches. Now, Rieti has its own theatre and opera house built in the late 19th century, so another plus there. And Rieti, sports-wise, is a very good place to be in and punches above its weight. Nearby, you have a 9-hole golf course, and in Rieti you have a decent football team, but above all, Rieti is most known for its international athletics event, where a number of world records have been set. One example of this is Asafa Powell, who broke the 100 meters world record in 2007 with a time of 9.74 seconds. Best of all though, property prices are very cheap at an average of just 1,200 euros per square meter. Now, transport-wise, Rieti has its own railway station and you can get to Rome in about 2 hours or so. However, the downside is that there are no direct trains, and unfortunately you will have to change at Terni station if you do need to get to Rome. But nevertheless, I do feel property prices in such a lovely place are unbelievably cheap. Now, coming in at number 2 is Tivoli. Now, with a population of around 55,000, Tivoli is only about 30 kilometers northeast of Rome. There are many regular trains going from Rome to Tivoli, many of which take well under an hour and only cost 3 euros. So if you live in Tivoli, you can easily visit Rome whenever you want to, or if you need to. Now, we all know Tivoli is known for its archaeological sites, of which there are many, including a Roman bridge, a mausoleum, an aqueduct, an amphitheatre, and a sanctuary. However, Tivoli is best known for its magnificent villas, in particular Villa d'Este with its unbelievable gardens and also fountains, and of course Villa Adriana with its magnificent complex of buildings and gardens. Now, Villa Adriana is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as is Villa d'Este. And Villa Gregoriana is not too bad either. Now, other than its well-known attractions, Tivoli has friendly locals, and at night the town's ancient streets do come to life. There are lots of good cafes and restaurants in Tivoli, and the food is very good here. Now, given that there's so much to see and do here, I think property prices are very reasonable at an average of just over 1,600 euros per square meter. So Tivoli, in my opinion, is definitely ideal for those who want to be near Rome but don't actually want to be in Rome and want to live in a lovely place as well. And in the summer, don't forget, Rome can get oppressively hot, whereas Tivoli is less hot than Rome. Now, coming in at number 1 is Viterbo. Now, with a population of around 67,000, Viterbo is a lovely city with very low property prices. We are talking, on average, only 1,300 euros per square meter, which I think is actually incredible value for such a wonderful city. Now, you can get here from Rome by train in just under 2 hours, and it costs around 6 euros. Now, the medieval centre has cobbled streets, stone towers, and is generally very lively. The city has lovely palaces, fountains, beautiful buildings with carvings, and many noteworthy churches. And the city also has a museum which has many archaeological items dating back to from prehistoric to ancient Roman times. And the museum is actually also home to a fine art gallery. Now, other good things about Viterbo are that it has a university, so you will find there is quite a decent nightlife here. Perhaps not the best, but a decent nightlife with students. And there is an opulent opera theatre house and a very good hospital here as well. And the Italian Army's Aviation Command Headquarters and training centres is also based here. Now, other advantages of Viterbo are that it is less than an hour from the seaside. And Orvieto, which is another stunning city, is only 45 minutes from here. And the lakes of Bolsena and Bracciano are not too far either. Last but not least, let's not forget, just west of the city, you have the famous baths of Viterbo. And for those of you who follow football, Leonardo Bonucci was born here. He actually scored in the 2020 Euro final against England, and ultimately Italy won the tournament. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you agree with these top five? Would you have put another place in Lazio instead? I certainly did find it quite difficult to choose my top five, and other places could have easily made it. Anyway, please comment below. That's it for today, and thanks ever so much for watching, and I shall see you soon on the next video.